Hi there viewers, I'm the Extraordinary Tourist and welcome to the first of what I'm hoping to be a series of animation diaries, just documenting some of the behind the scenes work that I'm doing on my various animation projects. It's just to sort of give you an idea of what I'm working on, and maybe in the process I might sort of give you a few hints and tips, and just by the very act of sort of showing you my work and the things that I'm doing. I'm hoping to do these at least weekly and sort of link them up with my animation and video blog, in which I also write about my projects and, just like I'm hoping to do here, provide tips and those kinds of things. So, the thing that I'm currently working on at the moment, which is this character here. You probably recognize the character from Star Wars The Force Awakens, and it's intended for a parody animation that I'm working on that is it's a parody of Rey, and sort of says what if she was a Roadrunner like character in the shorts that I want to make, where you have the BB-8 droid constantly being pursued by stormtroopers and sort of other people trying to track him down, and you have Rey coming to his rescue all the time, but more in a Roadrunner style. You notice in the movie where BB-8's sort of running along and go quite quick, much like the Roadrunner, and you have any number of characters chasing after him in the style of Wile E. Coyote in the Roadrunner cartoons. Only in this case, Rey is the one that comes and foils the pursuer with various sort of traps and whatever it is that she does. This character, by the way, will be available to purchase for CrazyTalk Animator 3 as a character rig in my Real Illusions store, or marketplace store, which I can show you. So here we go. Here, this is my Real Illusions store, where you can sort of buy my characters. At the moment, you can see there I've got my Color Monkey characters in the store. They're all available either separately or in this one pack that has everything related to them. I'm hoping to have it finished sort of by mid-November. It could be late November, see how I go. But she'll only be available in this view here. And currently I'm working on her actual hands, so if I zoom in on the hands here, to rig a G3 character so that you can animate the hands, you pretty much need to do, I think it's not actually sure how many hands there are to do, but I'll just bring up all the hands. I think it's something like at least 30 or more hands. Used to be somewhere around the 60 mark, I think. In any case, it's quite a lot, and the way I draw them in this program, which is Clip Studio Paint EX, is I draw them, the outlines separately using vector lines, and then I fill them in with on a raster layer, and that way I can adjust the actual outlines of the hands. So you can see there that's all of the hands switched on, and I'm sort of halfway working through them because these hands, in order to save myself some time, I literally ported them across from my Reddy the Colour Monkey character. So originally all these hands were red, and I did that because Reddy's hands are pretty much like human hands, but they're just red, so I thought, why not just save myself a bit of time redrawing all the different positions and just port his ones over. But the thing is, the outlines on his hands are quite thick, and his hands look probably more male than female hands. So if you look at, say, that hand there, you can see the lines are quite thick. And I have actually resized this to make it a bit smaller and more feminine from what they were on Reddy. But if you compare those hands, the lines on those hands, or that hand, to one that I've fixed, which I'll go this hand here, you can see the lines are much thinner and the fingers are a little more human-like and less sausage-like, that's what I'm working my way through now. So that's that I'm working on. Another project that I'm working on actually involves Reddy the Colour Monkey. It's called Infinite Monkey Theorem. It's only a very short story. It's got 11 frames, and it's basically in the first frame you've got your writer character here suffering a bit of writer's block. In the second frame we've got a whole bunch of monkeys in a room, sort of illustrating the Infinite Monkey Theorem idea, where if you put an infinite number of monkeys in a room with an infinite number of typewriters, you should eventually get the complete works of Shakespeare. And I won't sort of go on and tell you what's going on from there on, because it's just like a short joke, and if I go into it in more detail it'll sort of spoil the jokes. That's coming up. I am hoping to get this one out possibly before the end of November, but certainly before Christmas. And just finally, I can show you a little bit that I'm working on with that. Here we have my first image. Get that. I'm using this character here, which is a cartoon solution character that I'm going to change the head on this so that it looks probably a little more like myself, but I'm using the body and that just to save me a bit of time. I'm going to just change the head on that because in this particular scene the character barely moves, but I'm going to have to change the hands on this as well, because this character doesn't have any hands that work well in this position. He's meant to be sort of thinking with his hand in a fist, sort of up against his face like this, but he doesn't actually have a hand in that position, so I'm going to have to also modify the hand. This notebook is also just a stand-in for the typewriter for now, and probably the only thing I can show you that you may not be aware of is on screen here is actually two versions of this character. If I select the first version, which is just his arms like this, and the reason why his arms are separate and on this version he has no arms is so that this character can be in front of this desk down the bottom. If I go to the wide shot here, you can see the desk. Ordinarily you can't put just part of a character in front of a prop, so if you want to do that and have part of the character behind the prop and the other part in front, you have to duplicate the character and delete whatever it is that you're not using, and use the second character for whatever you want in front of the prop. So that's one tip if you are using CrazyTalk Animator 3 or even the earlier versions, 2 or 1. It's the same thing if you want to do this kind of thing where you put part of a character in front of a prop and part behind. That's how you go about it. But that's where I'm at with my Infinite Monkey Theorem animation at this point, and I think that's all I have to share with you for now. I hope you found it somewhat interesting, sort of seeing what I'm working on and where I'm up to at the moment, and hopefully next week I'll do another one of these video blogs, and hopefully I'll have moved a bit further and I'll be able to show you where I'm at that stage. So, as I said, hope you've enjoyed watching this and got something out of it, and until the next video, thanks for watching.